Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Muntasir Mayer Chaudhary, and I'm one of the fellows from the 2019 International Festivals of Arts and Ideas Fellowship Program. Since the beginning of the class, we have been exploring our cultures and identity through Jhumpa Lahiri's The Namesake and through the vast art events that occur around New Haven. And so this led us to the theme of today's town hall, which is about confronting identity. So out of curiosity, how many of us have read the big read, The Namesake? Can I see some hands? Oh, okay. So majority of us have read it. So just like there are some Bengali characters in the book, I myself am a Bengali person too. So obviously my name is not Goggle, but I do indeed have a Daknam and a Balonam, which means I have an official name to be known by and a nickname to be called by. So just like Goggle, Nikhil was his official name and Goggle was his nickname. My official name is Muntasir and my nickname is Mahir. It is truly interesting how even names can have different formats through different cultures, isn't it? So once again, I would like to welcome everyone to this glorious afternoon. And as for the program, it will split off into 3 sections. In our first one, our fellows will be talking about New Haven's local history, its multicultural environment, and also they will share some stories of how their arrival from their hometown to here in New Haven, just like me. While in the second part, fellows will be shedding some light on terms such as identity and culture, how it is expressed and claimed. Also, they will cover how cities and schools provide support in the exploration of this arts and cultures for the youth like us. For the last section, last but not least, we will come back to our theme of this town hall and how we're stepping towards confronting identity. So without further ado, with that being said, we're going to be starting this event off with our first section with Francesca, Guy, and Natalia. Thank you.
Hi, so I'm Francesca. I'm going to be sharing a video I made first, so we'll just wait for that to start.
Opportunity.
Inclusive.
Interesting.
Diverse.
Different.
Thank you. So, yeah, that video kind of gave an overview of New Haven's variety of cultures and how diverse we are. But I wanted to hear about your experience with New Haven, since we're all here because we're somehow connected to this amazing place. So I want to do a poll. So I'm going to read a statement, and you have to raise your hand if you agree or if you think it's true. So the first one is, I consider New Haven to be my home. And can anyone elaborate on why they think New Haven is special to them, or why they feel at home here? Yes, you.
I'm an elderly lady, and I've lived here most all my life.
Wow, were you born here?
Yes, I was.
It's amazing. The next statement is, I moved to New Haven from somewhere else. Also a good amount. Can anyone share where they came from? Yeah, so see, we've already got a lot of different cultures in this room. Okay, I speak more than one language. It's a lot. Can you guys share which languages you speak? Spanish? Wow, that's impressive. What else? Let's see. German, good. Okay, next statement. My identity is complex. Can anyone share why? I think my identity is also complex because I come from New Haven, I was born here, so it's definitely a home for me, but I'm also, I have family from Germany, and I've lived there, and I go there in the summer. So it's definitely, I have two different homes, two different cultures, well, more than two, because I also have like Jewish family here, Italian family, and it's just, it's hard to find the balance, like where do I really belong? But yeah, I think New Haven has just always been a really nice home for me. Like, I've never doubted that my home was New Haven, so yeah. I guess that's it.
Hi, my name is Guy Ada George. I'm also a fellow at the International Festival of Arts and Ideas this year, and I have a slideshow to present. Immigration in New Haven. So I had a question. Of the people who were born outside of the country, who were between the ages of 3 and 10 when they came over? All right. So for me, coming to the United States from Nigeria at the young age of 3 with my mother, who was 28, and my sister, who was barely 2, things were very tough at first. My mother was a single mom with no papers and 2 toddlers, looking for all the help and assistance she could find. If you aren't a New Haven native, were you ever helped by any of these organizations that you see? Or do you recognize any of the organizations? Okay. Irish was a big help for my family when we were getting on our feet in the country, with different services from food to occasional shelter and child care for my sister and I. They were very essential for us. So in 2017, my family participated in Irish's annual Run for Refugees event. This year, though, was very special. My mother was working on a documentary about 2 refugee women at the time, one from Sudan and one from Iraq. Coincidentally, it was during the time of the Run for Refugees, so many things ended up tying together. So here's just a little clip from the video. So yeah. As stated in the video, New Haven is looked at as a sanctuary for refugees and people who are looking for a fresh start, and I am proud to say that I can personally relate to that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalia, and as you may have seen in my bio, I am from Guatemala. I moved here almost 5 years ago, so I was 10 years old when I moved here. And today I'll be sharing a memoir that I wrote about kind of the process of moving from Guatemala and coming to New Haven. So, yeah. Okay. It was early in the morning when my siblings and I got into the car. With the desire of sleep weighing down our eyes, we were unaware of what we were leaving behind. As our red brick house faded off to the distance, we were overcome by slumber. I remember waking up the next morning in my aunt's bed, unaware of what I had left my home behind. I was sure it hadn't been the night before. It had in fact started a few weeks before, when our baby pictures hanging on the green hallway wall came down, when the spices in my mom's cupboard disappeared, leaving behind the faint scent of cinnamon and tajin, when the butterfly stickers on my pink bedroom walls came off and only the outline of them remained. Our house became empty as the memories were washed away with a fresh coat of paint and fabuloso. As our possessions were packed away, the house slowly became unrecognizable. I remember the long days where our neighbors would rummage through our things in hopes of buying our memories for the bare minimum. The fights with my mother about how many toys I could keep and whether or not they were more important than our Christmas decorations. I was unaware of the fact that everything we had held an important meaning. It was not until our first Christmas in the United States that I would realize the big mistake I had made, the taunting words of my mother as our house looked naked with our scar's decorations. "You guys were the ones who wanted to take toys," she said. My mother's words still remain in the back of my head, along with the memory of what we had and what we left behind. The thing is that when you live in one place for more than 10 years, things begin to accumulate. They're replaceable, my dad used to say. But in reality, they're not. The things I left behind were my childhood. Leaving them behind meant that I had to grow up. No more games of princesses and fairies in the garden. No more bikes to pretend we were riding horses. Now those memories are faint, and it makes me wonder whether they really happen or whether it's just my brain playing tricks on me. I never really got the chance to say goodbye, to walk into my room and let the memories flood into my head whilst a tear rolled down my cheek. I guess that I was too young to understand what I was leaving behind and what I was moving towards. It was not until I had lost a part of me that I realized how I let my romanticized idea of the United States shape me into someone I don't recognize. Now my life in Guatemala seems like a faint memory, a dream, a life that was not lived by me. How could it have been me? The person who lived in Guatemala was the color of caramel. She was surrounded by her family, she was herself, she could speak Spanish. However, now when I try to speak Spanish, I am welcomed by the unfamiliar sound of my native tongue, almost unrecognizable due to my heavy gringa accent. I'm stuck in the middle, you see. The color of my skin gives me away as Hispanic, but my Spanish identifies me as a gringa. So my solution was to be what everyone around me was and let go of my culture. I let go of my Spanish, my Latina clothes, my Hispanic friends, and a big part of my identity. You could say that the small Guatemalan girl who waited anxiously in the airport never made it to the United States. The girl who roamed New Haven's clean and safe streets did not roam Guatemala's busy streets. Now all my memories of my home country are replaced by the Americanized version, and my country's call home is buried by the loud sounds of unfamiliarity and fear. And would you mind repeating after me? Okay. Camarón que se duerme Se lo lleva la corriente. So that just means the shrimp who falls asleep is carried by the current. And that just, yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's something you would say to someone who's slacking, kind of. So yeah, that my mom used to tell me that all the time. So the second one is a palabras necias, oídos sordos. So that means to naughty words or foolish words, you need to have deaf ears. So don't listen to what other people are saying, kind of. And that's also something my mom used to tell me all the time. So yeah. And then the third one, it's a little weird. It's sana sana, colita de rana. That just means heel, heel, tail of frog. Doesn't really make sense. It's just something you tell someone who's hurt in like hopes of making them feel better. So whenever I got hurt, my mom would just tell me that, and she would sometimes sing it. It's kind of a song. But yeah, that's a little bit weird. And the last one is te quiero, which is like the between of I like you and I love you. We don't really have a word for it in English, and it's just something that I grew up saying to my friends and my family, and now I don't really have that equivalent in English. So yeah, thank you.
These are just some drawings that I did to represent how I feel about identity and how I see it. And yeah, they look nice. Who here at one point in their life asked themselves, who am I? Yeah, me too. Have you ever actually known what identity was, or you guys were like, this is identity, and this is identity? Yeah, or was it mixed up? A little? So identity doesn't have to do with someone's race, someone's religion, nationality, where you're from, or where you're born, your language, of course, occupation, whether you're a husband, a wife, a brother, a sister, a mom or a dad, or how big your house is or what type of car you own. True identity is who you are and how you put yourself in front of others and to the world and society. And the fact that we all have a different identity is what makes each and every one of us unique. We all have a different soul, not the same one. So I feel like that makes us unique. And why is it that at school, growing up, whenever I would ask my teacher what identity was, she would say it would be your fingerprint, or it would be an identification card, because the only thing that would be up there is your name, how old you are, and where you're from. Identity is defined as the fact of being who or what a person is or thing is. And to me, identity is who you are and who you grew up around and how you act towards others and how you put yourself around. Was there a point where someone was stuck in an identity crisis? And an identity crisis is where you don't know who you are or what your identity is because you're listening to what other people are saying. As in, someone's telling you who you are and you're thinking to yourself, since they're telling that, I have to change up who I am. When I was little, I was stuck in an identity crisis. Sometimes I'm there in between. But I tell myself that I'm Mia, and I wasn't born to listen to other people and act how people tell me to act. I'm intelligent, I'm strong, powerful, and I'm destined for greatness.
My name is Genesis, and I just made a video, so
can watch it.
I am Native American.
I am Jamaican.
I am Mexican American.
I am Haitian.
I am Bayesian.
Thank you. So the purpose of my video is to show the importance of embracing your culture, whether it be just one or multiple. At times you may feel uncomfortable or that you don't fit in, whether it be how you dress, talk, or the way you style your hair. It's important to know that you're not supposed to fit in. You're meant to stand out. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you love yourself and every part that comes with it. So I wanted to ask, is anybody here biracial? If you could raise your hand. Or like more than one culture. Okay, and does anybody want to share what that's like growing up with more than one culture? Nobody. Okay, so then I can just say, well, me, my father is Colombian and Ecuadorian, and my mother is African American, and I guess it was kind of difficult trying to figure out where I belonged in both of that and trying to embrace both sides and like becoming accepting of it, because a lot of people try to tell me that you see more like one than the other, or that you don't look one way. And so like I'm still learning how to like embrace both and like show that you can be more than one and embrace all of it and accept it without anybody else's opinion about it. So that's it. Thank you.
Don't be that way. Fall apart twice a day. I just wish you could feel what you say. Show, never tell, but I know you too well. Got a mood that you wish you could sell. If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools filled by models. Told a tight dress is what makes you a whore. If I love you was a promise, would you break it? If you're honest, tell the mirror.
So a couple classes ago, there was like a question, I think it was something that bothers you, and I said stereotypes. And it's basically just being judged basically on how I look, dress, and talk and act. Yeah, that's it.
Hi, everyone. So now that we've talked a bit more about identity and what makes up our identity, I wanted to talk about these different factors and characteristics. So, for instance, I'll talk a little bit about my own identity. So the first one is Mexican. That's my cultural heritage. It's where my parents come from, especially. And what this is really important are my values, el color de mi piel y el idioma que hablo, the color of my skin and the language I speak, and most importantly, food. Another one of my identities is a musician. A musician has taught me to appreciate music from all different types of cultural backgrounds. It has taught me to always be a performer and to captivate my audience. And most importantly, being a better listener. And my last identity I identify with my neighborhood. So I grew up in Fairhaven my entire life. It has taught me very valuable lessons like being extra careful when you're riding a bike, having cheesesteaks and Puerto Rican food at every corner. It's a beautiful place. So I want to ask you, what are your 3 identities? And can I have 3 volunteers join me up on stage? Just 3. So anyone can come up if they feel like it. Don't worry. Yeah, we're going to do sort of the same activity right here. Okay, thank you. You get a marker. You get a marker. Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is write 3 identities on each of the sticky notes. So it could be anything you think about, any way you wish to define identity. There are no limits. Okay? And just look up when you're done. Okay. So what are your 3 identities?
So I said British American, athlete, and friend.
Mm-hmm. I said intelligent, unique, and Latina.
Yep.
I said Puerto Rican, reckless, and antisocial.
So I'm going to ask you, why did you pick those 3 identities?
Puerto Rican is where, I come from Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. Reckless, I just do things and not thinking about, what's going to happen next or whatever. And antisocial, I just like my own self-time,
Okay. Awesome. So now what I'm going to ask you to do is take one of those 3 and crumple it up. So I'll just go here. Okay. So which one did you crumple up?
I crumpled up friend.
And why did you crumple that one up?
I think because who I am is someone that's, wants to be kind and like a friend to others, but to my own identity, I think where I'm from and who I feel I am is more to do with my identity.
Awesome. So now we're going to take another one. You're left with 2, and crumple one up, another one up. This is hard. I feel this is one of the hardest parts. Okay, so now what are you left with?
Unique.
And why is that the most important part of your identity?
Because I'm one of a kind. And, yeah, that's it. I'm one of a kind.
What are you left with?
Puerto Rican.
And why is that different amongst the other ones that you picked?
Because if I'm not Puerto Rican, I'm not nobody, you know? Yeah.
And yours?
I actually come from where I'm from.
Oh, interesting.
Which kind of surprised myself. But I think it's one that I almost forgot to write down. And I think it's because I have athlete, and I think it's more about who I am in the current day, not sort of like my background.
Awesome. So how difficult was it just choosing 3 identities?
There's a lot that identifies me, so just picking 3 was kind of like, I need to pick the top 3 that mean the most to me.
And do you think identity can be defined by one thing?
No.
2? 3? 10? Okay, so yeah, identity is complex. As we said before, it can be your hobbies, where you come from, different characteristics. It's beautiful and it's personal, and it needs no definition. Thank you.
It happened in 1st grade. When the teacher first asked, "Where are you from?" I said, I don't know. Sure, I knew Spanish, but couldn't speak it without a stutter. The only culture I knew came from my mother, who stood with Jamaicans, but their country she didn't claim, and yet I was still black, a label but no name. My father cried Portuguese, but look it, he did not, from his skin, his voice, his nose, his locks, and so I say I don't know. I creep, I lie, I encroach, but I don't belong. My blood tells me so I back up, back out, and say I don't know. And through the years and through my tears, I come to terms with what I lack. I lost my home when my ancestors were stolen and marketed simply as black. But in my city, I find my name, a brand new home, a brand new haven. My shopkeeper's Hispanic, my best friend is Asian, my teachers are black, my neighbor's Caucasian. I love my city. I love New Haven. I've met the whole world in those warm cookout nights. I've carved out a culture. I've carved out a life. So when people ask me who I am, where I'm from, I say I'm Kiana, and New Haven is my home.
Thank you. Okay. So as you heard in my piece, I struggled with my almost lack of personal culture and my connection to my family background throughout the years. And throughout the years, I have almost built a family and a pride in New Haven, growing closer to its people in more of a broader sense, through living in Fairhaven particularly. So with that being said, would anyone like to briefly talk on their experience that other cultures have affected you from your communities? Jeez, okay, don't talk over each other. There's so many people volunteering. Okay. To sort of course the conversation in a different direction, has anyone who is connected with their culture felt how the American culture has personally affected them and sort of made you have to conform? Like,
if anyone has emigrated, do you feel like you have to leave a part of your culture behind? It's fine, just raise your hand. Okay, now would anyone like to share? Okay, that's fine. It is a very hard topic to discuss, so I understand that. So please just take these questions and think about them within your own mind and keep them within your heart. Thank you.
So, hi, my name is Jocelyn, and I'm going to be talking about budget cuts and funding. So, before I start, who in the audience has gone to school in New Haven? Okay. So, the Board of Education is laying off 50 teachers or relocating them next year. And some of you may be asking why. So the Board of Education plans to save money by relocating or laying off teachers district-wide. This could mean fewer classes and fewer courses for students in larger classrooms. The Board of Education is also in a $30 million debt. These are pictures from showing conditions in New Haven high schools. The two on the left are from Wilbur Cross High School, and the two on the right are from Hill Regional Career High School. In the career pictures, you can see that the boys' bathroom is missing their mirrors. So now let's compare. These images are from Darien High School and Staples High School in Westport, and the demographics show that 90% of the town is white. So do you see any differences between the school? Just last year, 3 schools were shut down due to financial problems. There were Creed High School, New Horizons, and New Light. The shutdowns were a part of a plan from the Board of Ed to save money. By no longer leasing the buildings, the district could save money. The shutdowns were left students and their families very upset. And as you can see in the picture, these are students from Career High School protesting the shutdown. So discrimination in the school systems, unequal opportunities. So let's talk about the SAT. Many minorities go to school with larger classroom, fewer AP courses, and lacking in resources. Low-income families cannot afford to pay for SAT prep classes, and these prep classes generally run from $600 to $1,000. As a result, the SAT favors high-income families. So, racial profiling, using race or ethnicity as grounds for suspecting someone of having committed an offense. So, school-to-prison pipeline, this is a term that links disadvantaged young minorities to getting imprisoned after schooling. So Connecticut is investing more money into jails than they are in education. Inner city schools are 18 times more likely to get tougher security than suburban schools. Minorities are less likely to be gifted, instead labeled as special needs. So how is this affecting the students? We're given fewer opportunities. Hill Regional Career High School could be left without an art department. Our art department has 1 teacher, and that teacher is getting relocated next year, so the whole department can be shut down. Kids will not have creative outlets. They can never be exposed to art, music, or theater. Fewer resources, less experienced teachers, and fewer advanced placement courses. So the benefits of art programs. Some benefits are improves creativity, builds confidence, improves focus, helps develop language, motor, and problem-solving skills, and helps students connect with their culture. So this is my story with the Festival of Arts and Ideas. My school focuses on academics strongly. There is almost little to no outlet for creativity. I've always been interested in the arts, but I had no way of trying it out. Classes cost money, and they are not cheap. My family is a low-income family that could not afford that expense. Luckily, the Festival of Arts and Ideas has a fellowship program. High school students from New Haven are given the opportunity to work with the festival while earning 3 college credits. I applied, as you can see, I got in. The best part of it all is that the program is completely free to the students. The festival has given me and my classmates an amazing opportunity to see what the life of an artist is like, exposes us to different types of art and activism through it. So, how can we solve this issue? One way is activism, using social media as a platform, petition, organize a protest to have your voice heard. And Hill Regional Career High School held a protest against the decision to remove teachers from our school. And this is some footage I took of the protest.
Our teachers! We want our teachers! We want our teachers! We want our teachers! We want our teachers! We want
Contract teachers cannot have more than 27 students and more than 125 students per semester. The classes are already packed at Career. Removing those teachers are going to make them even more packed.
New Haven needs more money. And what you and your parents and everyone needs to do is help lobby our state representatives so that we could get more money to support. Again, we still are in a deficit of $30 million because over the years we have, as you've seen, we've built many schools, cost of education has gone up.
The performance of the students is not going to be the same. They're not going to be challenged with college level classes before college. Like that's depriving the students of the opportunity to take higher level classes and removing those 2 teachers and 4 APs in the past 2 years. And last time I checked, the school was for the students, not for the teachers. So we're the most important voices here, and we're the ones that deserve to make our own decisions for our own well-being and future.
Thank you.
Look at people, you make me wanna jump around the place. I want to bend my waist. I'm jumping up and down, even on the ground, jumping in the van, and raising my hand. Hear me people say, yeah man, when it's so sweet. Time to start this session, time to celebrate. One love in the region, strictly love, no hate. Everybody jumping in love and unity. Jump up everybody, jump and let me say. Just can't wait for festival, when they pass on it. Jump around, let me hear you. Just can't wait for festival, when they pass on the music. Jump around, let me hear you. 'Cause you make me wanna jump around the place. I want to bend my waist. I'm jumping up and down, even on the ground, jumping in the van, I'm raising my hand. Hear me people say, what's it, John? Oh, na, 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 na. Yeah, man.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Jillian, and the purpose of my project was to build bridges between multiculturalism in New Haven. Excuse me. Whew. I decided to address multiculturalism through dance for various reasons. One of them is that almost everyone can read and interpret dance. I have been dancing since the 5th grade, and I've explored a lot of different styles of dance. Has anyone ever seen this type of dance, which is called African? Okay. I go to Co-op High School where arts is a choice, and it's something you can choose to do, whether it's dance, theater, art, creative writing, or choir. Feeding off of what Yaslin was talking about, the type of school she goes to is way different from mine. Music class is a privilege at that school, and it's quite sad that they're getting rid of the only art source in that school. To me, that makes me appreciate my school so much more because it really is a privilege to get to explore the arts of dance. So, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily, and I'm going to be showing you a poster I made. If you were to look at this poster, how are these people connected to each other? Anyone? Okay, I'm just going to go into my spoken word. How is it that you look nothing alike? Is your mom or dad black? Are you making it up? There's no way. But you're white. It can't be. That's what I'm told. It's all true. He's a part of me just like your siblings are too. He's different. I get it. Yes, he's my brother. I say loud and proud, front and center of the quiet classroom. This is my family tree. I heard whispers. Is that her stepbrother? A cousin that her parents took in? What does that even mean? How is this not possible? What's not possible? I always needed clarification. No one always had answers. Some did. Their response was usually, he just doesn't look like you. You're total opposites. Or, you're just different people. I wondered some more. Why does he have to look like me to be my brother? That's that. This piece shares some of the comments I have received from my teachers and friends about my brother. My brother is 18 years old. He's adopted. He's African American, a little taller than me. He enjoys different things than I do. He has different interests. He enjoys video games, riding his bike, karate, cars, airplanes, building all different kinds of things. But I learned to realize that even though he's different than me, that he's still my brother. And as I grew up, I questioned what makes people family, because I have a lot of people in my family that aren't blood related to me, but I feel like I could connect to them more than my actual blood family members. And I quickly learned that it wasn't the color of your skin or whether they had the same DNA as you that makes you family. And I dwelled on it, and I still do. And this poem / spoken word releases all those questions that still linger. So thank you.
Hello. My identity comes in many forms, and we all have many ways we express our identity. For me, a big part of my identity is my sexual orientation. I identify as homoromantic asexual. This means that I experience romantic feelings for the opposite sex, but no sexual feelings for anyone. I've spent practically my whole life trying to figure out exactly what I am, trying to figure out where I belong, where I fit in. This for me has been very difficult. It's a scary journey, and it has made me realize how important it is to be able to identify exactly what you are and fit into a group. Being able to identify exactly how I am makes me feel not alone. At this point, I'm content with my identity. However, because my identity is not very well known, people often tell me that it's not a real thing, or that I just haven't experienced these feelings yet, but I will soon. This can be really hard to hear because it makes me feel like people are trying to strip me of my identity, and this makes me feel alone again. It is at these times that I understand just how important my identity is to me. What are some words you would use to describe yourself? Right. What are some words others use to describe you? Are there any words that others might use to describe you or have used to describe you that you would not choose for yourself?
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maya, and I'm here to talk about stepping out your comfort zone. But before I continue, has anyone here stepped out their comfort zone? As we all know, everyone is different. No one is the same, even if you're related. And we all have to be in certain situations in which we're not comfortable in. For example, the previous fellows and the staff members were born in different regions of the world, from India to Nigeria to Guatemala. And I'm pretty sure when they moved to America, they were terrified. Or even the dancers that came up today, they were probably terrified as well. Or even me. I don't like speaking in front of people. I'm terrified right now. But I'm here for all you guys. Stepping out of your comfort zone takes a lot of courage, whether it's through yourself or you're being forced to. And everyone has to face challenges. Whether we're old or young, everyone transforms, and the experiences that we encounter transform our personalities. In conclusion, because all of us are different and all of us experience different situations, all I can say is that life is short, and we're all gonna be old, or if you're already old, you already know. All I have to say is that learn, adapt, and if you try your hardest, you will set yourself up for success, and you will have your full potential. Oof. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Rafael, and basically I'm gonna talk about the same thing, about stepping out of my comfort zone, but like my point of view. So like, think about it as a personal bubble, where when you're in it, you can be yourself, be the person that you truly are. You can also see it as a locked room, where sometimes in life you have to step out and let yourself out, and show people how much of a genuine you can be. I can assure you that everyone at least once has stepped out of the comfort zone. Have you? And if you have, what impact did it did to you, like physically, mentally, like in your life? You can raise your hand and tell me what. Okay. Back to the point I was trying to make, comfort zones is something you can notice when you feel uncomfortable on doing certain things. Like, for example, right now, I'm super nervous. Actually, I'm not, but I'm like straight. And don't know when I'm doing this because I'm speaking out in public. And it's one of my main insecurities and main thing that makes me uncomfortable, but hey, I'm here for you guys. Stepping out of your comfort zone is also exposing your true self out in public. In my case, it's hard for me to express my feelings out with people. People that knows me pretty well knows that I'm a very flat-mooded person. I'm like that because I grew up like that, with a lot of insecurities and very antisocial. I've had a lot of time for myself, and I got to learn about myself and how I work. I know situations where I can step out of my comfort zone and feel weird. And being honest with you, it is good. Life is full of challenges and fears that you eventually have to overcome and live your life at its limit. Expressing myself to others is something that makes me uncomfortable, but I still do it because, like I said, life is full of difficulties that don't let you be yourself. So go out and be yourself, try new things, overcome every obstacle to pursue your true happiness.
Well, I'm back on the stage. So, as Maya and Raphael talked about how stepping out of your comfort zone is sure a difficult step towards learning other cultures, I want to say that the benefit actually maxes out the fear. I myself am not from Connecticut or US, and just like how Ashima was from India, I'm from Bangladesh. Not much of a difference, we're like right next to each other. And as a foreign citizen, like I do see things differently from a normal one. Like the first time I came here, when I saw that the power was on 24/7, I was like, that exists. Because on our countries, like around Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, we don't get much facilities. Power cuts and water problems are common. And also, I never got to know what a Wi-Fi is until I came here. So yeah, you could tell. So getting back to our theme, in the book, we see that Goggle ends up being made fun of for the name he's known by, and also he tends to create this distance from the culture his parents follow. I think he felt as if his culture was somewhat inferior to others. For me, I never actually encountered a situation where me being a part of different culture has came up to question, so I can say proudly that my identity proves that I exist, and my culture decorates it thoroughly. So, walking along this train of thought, I want us all to think of culture as being the branches of a tree, and the root of that tree to be considered as our identity. Our culture builds up who we are, along with our roots, which has to be strong in order for that culture to exist in our hearts. It does not have to be just one or two specific cultures. You can be part of many and still be uniquely you. I think that if you're willing to learn about more cultures, you're actually improving your knowledge about the outside world, but also enhancing your empathy and shared respect for others. We should never back down from learning or admiring another culture. Same goes for expressing and claiming our own. So with that being said, well now, I want to wrap this town hall up by thanking my dear fellows who came up and presented such exciting stories. And also thank all of you who participated and supported us for this. Thank you very much.